Thank you, everyone. Special thanks to Catherine Cruikshank for inviting me here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dave Kramer. I am the face of Alzheimer's disease. I'm walking and talking. I don't look sick. Many of us with Alzheimer's appear well to the naked eye. That we often look well is part of our image problem. Funding for cancer research is far greater than that for Alzheimer's. Cancer patients look ill. It's natural to feel sorry for them. Money flows in, and thus many cancers are not only treatable, but curable also. We need to work twice as hard to generate half as much money. Actually, that's a joke. In reality, we need to work 10 times as hard. In the US, cancer receives $5.7 billion a year compared to Alzheimer's $550 million in funding. That's right, a 10-to-1 ratio. So I'd like to thank all of you for your efforts on behalf of my disease. Before I forget, I'd also like to thank the Florida Gulf Coast Alzheimer's Association for asking me to speak at this Walk to End Alzheimer's. Please excuse me for using these notes. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have needed them. You see, I have this memory problem. I was asked to speak as both a patient and an advocate. I'm completely out of the Alzheimer's closet. I'm an emergency physician and I have early onset Alzheimer's disease. Obviously, I could no longer practice after being diagnosed. My initial awareness involved problems with my short-term memory. Not great for an ER doc whose work depends on rapid, on-the-spot decision-making. I had a hard time learning new things. Also not something that you are looking for in your emergency physician. I was diagnosed at age 56 after almost 2 years of extensive testing. The evaluation involved everything from blood work, EEGs, and multiple neuropsych examinations, to CT scans, MRI, and finally a PET scan, which showed typical early changes of Alzheimer's disease. Tiffany, my wonderful wife, and I were glad we finally had a diagnosis and could move on with our lives. But it wasn't easy. Death sentences seldom are, and they tend to throw a wrench into the whole just live every day to the fullest idea. I was in the dumps for about a month before Tiffany told me to cut the sad crap and start enjoying every day we have left together. That was the best advice I have ever received. We moved to our home in Naples, where we could enjoy every single day and focus on the classic best practices of Alzheimer's, such as exercising and remaining social. Now 59, I'm a person with dementia and an advocate for those of us with Alzheimer's. I'm here to tell you that there is life after diagnosis. My wife and kids give me purpose. Forced retirement has its good side. I get to spend every day with Tiffany. Our loving kids, 17 and 21, are still coming to grips with the diagnosis and all its implications. In June of this year, I started a Facebook page called Living Well with Alzheimer's. It focuses on my life and journey and also serves to educate about my disease. I take a very positive outlook on life while still being brutally honest about the challenges that patients and their caregivers face. I would love it if all of you would check out my Living Well with Alzheimer's page. And don't forget to click like. More likes of the page help spread the word about making the most of every day with this disease. I also volunteer with a wonderful online project called Dementia Mentors, where I have video chats with newly diagnosed patients and those struggling to come to grips with their disease. The website, dementiamentors.com, also supports virtual memory cafes every week where people with dementia from around the world can candidly talk about anything from their disease to the weather. The only rule for dementia mentors is no normal brains allowed. Expanding research is crucial. The truth is sobering. Currently, there is no cure and no significantly effective treatment for Alzheimer's. The vast majority of research trials for medications fail. The typical autopsy findings of Alzheimer's are sometimes found in people who had no symptoms whatsoever. How can we find a treatment or a cure when we are not even sure what we are treating or curing? There is still a lot to be learned, a lot of research to do. Clearly, this requires a lot of funding. But what about the 5 to 6 million in the US with Alzheimer's right now? I'm concerned that the millions of us who already have Alzheimer's are being sorely neglected. There is a tremendous need for helping patients and the wonderful caregivers who sacrifice for us every day. I'd like to see more programs that focus on better day-to-day support. I'd also like to see better and easier access to best practices. In addition, I'd like to see funding for family caregivers so they can have a day off each week, confident that their loved ones are still in good hands. We need to remember that family caregivers provide expensive care for free. If we don't support their needs, financially and emotionally, we risk losing them. I have often said that this disease is much harder on my wife than it is on me. We are lucky here in Naples to have two organizations working so hard for us. Each has its own strengths and focus. The Alzheimer's Association is great at fundraising, lobbying in Washington, and educating the public. We are also fortunate to be involved with the Alzheimer's Support Network, a local organization that is committed to supporting patients and their caregivers right here and right now. They have weekly activities and support groups for patients in all stages of the disease and their caregivers. Finally, I want to thank all of you again for showing your support for ending Alzheimer's disease. Your time and energy will have a long-term impact toward knocking Alzheimer's on its ass. Thank you for listening, and have a great walk.
The four people that just spoke, take a look around, and also the symbolic flowers they hold. These individuals represent the promises we have come together to fulfill, a colorful display of the intent to honor, to remember, to care, and to fight. Now look all around you. Regardless of what color you're holding, you're not alone in facing Alzheimer's disease. And you certainly are not alone in this fight. All the flowers that you see, like this one here, are our reasons to end Alzheimer's.